Welcome back. In this video, we'll hopefully get the web page done. Now, just a little bit more about that image. I mean, I left it square here. I know in the original, I did have a circle around it. So I'll just show you what you can do there. All that is really is a border radius. Now, because I didn't make this square, I might have to border radius. And I set that to 50%, and then that gives you a circle there. Now we'll just take a look at that and see. It's an oval. That's not too bad. I mean, if I had squared this off by setting the height and the width to be the same, you might get something, but yeah, it kind of cuts a few of those heads off. But well, maybe try it with a less radius. And again, this is sort of experimentation, right? Maybe that looks better, right? Up to you. Okay, let's get back to our HTML where, just like before, we had to sort of give these sections class names. So I'm going to come down to our footer area, and you might say, oh, this is a lot of work for one page. Well, the beauty is that once you make up this one page, we can take a lot of these elements and use them on subsequent pages. Really, you would just be changing the section area. So don't forget about that, right? Once you get these sort of working out reasonably, then the hard work is done. You've got everything sort of set up. Anyways, in the footer here, we'll just sort of do the same thing. We'll put a class here. We'll call this main footer, and the quotation, and then this. We're actually going to put a div in here. So we're going to divide this up. We haven't seen a div here. It just sort of helps us style as we divide things up. So div class, we'll call this container main, main footer container. Okay, so this, again, just sort of differentiating them here. And that div, we have to close it up because we opened a div, and I'm going to close it up just above the footer here. So I'm going to come down here and slash the div. There we go. So this whole section is sort of divided up. H3, and so this H3 here we're going to style with the band name that we've actually made before. So automatically we don't have to change anything here. It should default to the regular size one. So band name, class on the UL. We'll set a class here, and we'll make that called nav. So it's inherits from nav, but specifically this one we're going to style a little bit different. Footer nav. And I think we're pretty good there. The only thing is these sources. All right, we might as well put the images in. So the YouTube images, so we've got them all here. So it's YouTube logo.png. So YouTube space logo.png. And we'll do that for the other ones too. So Spotify. And you have to be careful, right, that you spell these exactly. .png. And then last one, Facebook. So Facebook space logo.png. All right. So let's run that and sort of see. Now those images, whoops. Oh, what did I forget? It has to be in the images folder. So if you don't do it right, you get those sort of little blanks there. So I'm just going to copy that and put those in too. Okay, that should fix that problem. Now they might not be visible. They are there. They're just not visible because they are white, and we're going to change that color there. Okay, so let's go back to our style and get this done here. So right at the bottom, we'll just sort of follow along here. We're going to put in a main footer. Oops, main footer. And we're going to style this. We're going to give a background color. Now, what I did was I gave it a RGB color that was sort of an orange color, as they're smashing pumpkins. So just RGB. And 240, 147. Obviously this color is just what I sort of picked here. You could change that. The text, so remember, whoops, the text is just called color. We're set that text to white, and just a little bit of padding on top. We'll do 0.25 EM, and on the sides 0 there. Whoops, I always want to put a comma. You don't need to put a comma. So just to see what we've got. Right, so it's looking better already, and so we can see the logos now because it's on white on the this yellow color. They're PNGs, so the background color comes through, and the Smashing Pumpkins, the font looks right, and looking pretty good there. Next, now this, don't worry too much. A lot of this is moving things around, which is a little bit complicated, and so I don't really expect you to understand here. We're going to set the display to flex, and you can look into this more if you want. Align items, we will center. Align items, and we will center. And so again, we'll just sort of see what this does. It's going to start to sort these out, put them in the center here. But this flex, what it lets you do is it sort of puts these side by side as well. The other thing that we'll do is the unordered list. Okay, these guys, we're going to put them side by side. So I'm just going to actually copy this. Just quite a similarities here, just to save us a little bit of typing. And we'll say main footer container, and then we're just specifically going to style the ULs, the unordered list. And so we're going to do, well, I guess these are quite different. So let me just, they're similar but different. So we're going to call it flex grow. And again, don't worry about this. Just sort of put it in. We'll set that to 1. And then the other thing is the text align, and we'll sort of put them end to end. So end. I'll just put a space in there. And so we'll sort of see that. So these now should be side by side. Now it didn't quite fit in. We need a little bit more, I think. Yeah, there's just, we gotta just sort of play with the sizes there of them. So 2 more things. Dot footer nav, the line items. So we will, oops, not nav, nav. We'll set the padding here. So we'll get rid of the padding. Oh, I didn't. On the top and bottom, and then just a little bit on the sides, so 0.5 EM. And then we'll leave that, we'll do that at the end. The very last thing, dot footer, sorry, I'm having trouble typing, the image we want to style, and we're going to set the width to 30 pixels, pretty small, and the height also, we'll just square this off, 30 pixels. There. Good thing it's near the end because I can't type anymore. So let's just check it out. So that should have dealt with these little things. Still not side by side. There we go. I guess just the width there at a certain point. It's just too small. When this is not enough room, then that's when that pulls down too. But as you can see here, and I'll just pull this off. Not bad, right? For what we've got here. Now, these obviously aren't working yet. We can't click and go anywhere. They just actually go back to, they refresh the same site, okay? But we've got this head section with this little sort of line across. That was that line that we made with the, solid sort of line. I don't think I mentioned that. There is the title, right? Then our content section here. Fonts may be a little bit on the small side. So what would I do? Well, I would just go back to Rebel. So I guess this is it here, right? So I got to go back here. And so this would be in our main section. So I could sort of say, well, so, okay, that's our section header. So sort of something in here probably. Font size, so 2.5 EM. Let's make that 4. Now that didn't change the font size there. I guess what I probably have to do, so just a second here, is specifically style. I'm going to leave that there. Specifically style the section with the paragraph here. So just going back, making sure, right? So this is the section, content section, right? The container. So I could do content section P. So let's just check this out. So if I come in here, just sort of in the section area, so what do we call that? Content section, and we want to style the P, right? The paragraph. And so the font here, so font size, and you'd have to sort of play around and see what size it is. I'm going to try 1.5 EM, so just a little bit larger. And yeah, I mean that's a better size, I think. So if we rip a page off again, I'll just pull this away and do a new page again, open a new tab. There, I think that's easier to read. I mean, the font is a bit tough, but it's their font, so we're going to go with that. And yeah, we've got a pretty decent web page there. Okay, like I said, we've done a lot of work, but this top bit, this bottom bit are going to be the same on pretty well any web page that you would do for the website to maintain that consistency. And you'd just be able to go in and, change up basically the content area in the middle. All right, so we'll end here and probably make a couple other videos just to talk about what you could do to sort of build out your website if you're interested in doing that.